Now, like we promised, here's the next video in the Moses Deep Dive series. This one is called How to Be Happy After Heartbreak. So this one's definitely about Moses too. We're only going to react to the parts that she actually speaks about Moses in and not the parts where she speaks about other people in. So keep in mind this was in July, which was a month before the macaroni video where they get together and eat macaroni. So from about like April to August, they had an issue with each other, or on her channel, she posted him in April and then didn't post him again until August. So they were kind of on a little hiatus, likely because she caught him cheating, lying, and talking about her behind her back. So again, this video takes place after the podcast we just did. So this is How to Be Happy After Heartbreak. So she's going to talk about Moses here and how she feels about him now. So remember, this is the month before the macaroni video. All right, let's begin.
Hey guys! Hey guys, what is up? I've been going through it mentally. Just in a weird space. This week I just decided to eat every single food that I could possibly eat to make myself feel better.
Okay, so one quick thing I want to say here is that her attitude is vastly different from how it was on the podcast. On the podcast, she was more like, I don't give a F, like cocky, mocking, like she didn't really care. She was bragging about all the people that she was sleeping with after Moses. So this one, which is her YouTube video on her channel, kind of like a vlog, whatever, get ready with me. Now she's being more like, oh, I'm going through it. This is rough. So now she's actually sharing her true feelings about the heartbreak and putting away the I don't give a F persona. So notice too here that she mentions that she's eating everything she can. I feel like she's trying to say that she's stress eating because of what happened to her. The thing is, I believe her, but I think she also just eats that way in general. So I kind of feel like she does this thing where she'll eat a certain way in general and then blame it on something else, like, oh, Moses made me do it because he cheated on me, so now I'm stress eating, but she would have eaten that way anyway.
Comfort eating. If you guys know anything about comfort eating, if you're a comfort eater, you guys know. Like, I mean, I always have an issue with food. Like, when I'm happy, I love eating, but I'd eat less. It's just like right now, it's not that I'm not happy.
I have to comment on this because it contradicts what she previously said. When she was with Jason, she said she was the happiest she's ever been, and because of that, she gained so much weight because she was so comfortable and happy. She said it was like her happy weight. So her saying now, oh, when I'm happy, I eat less. I don't think that's true. I think she uses food as both a tool to reward herself and as a tool to comfort herself. So I think she eats both when she's happy and when she's sad.
You know when something in your life just takes you for a freaking loop and you're just like, I didn't see that coming, right? That's kind
I'm kind of confused by her saying that she didn't see it coming with Moses because prior to this, she actually caught him talking crap about her behind her back. I'm pretty sure in those initial text messages is when she caught him saying that he was going to use her for her money and to collect child support from her. So she already knew that side of him. She was already aware of those texts and she read them and she knew what he said. Because remember when she talked about him, she said, well, I had already caught him talking crap behind my back, but I forgave him. She goes, and then he did this to me. So her acting so surprised, like she didn't see it coming, is surprising because why wouldn't she see it coming from the guy who lied to her and talked bad about her before? Why would she be so surprised that this guy was still talking behind her back?
of how I feel at the moment, and it's about a lot of things, to be perfectly honest. It really is. Yeah, I just feel like a lot. There's a lot happening. I don't know.
Here she might be referring to the fact that this was also, I think, around the time that Jeffree Star was talking about her. So she was going through the Moses breakup and also the Jeffree Star friendship drama.
It just happens, and you know what? It always happens in the summertime. I always have such a summer. I have like summertime. Is it Summertime Sadness? Is that by Lana Del Rey? I really do have
It is by Lana Del Rey, yes.
it. Summertime, summertime sadness.
I'm not sure it's only summer that Trisha seems to get into drama because her Jason Ash breakup, I believe, happened around January, maybe February. And she typically gets into a lot of drama all year round, if I'm being honest.
So I decided to get up today, do my makeup, do my hair, feel myself, do an OnlyFans, start like eating like healthier, just know the answers in life. I don't know. It's like I have nothing to look forward to. I don't know. Ugh, it just sucks.
Now, we're cutting out anything that doesn't have to do with Moses because this is the Moses Deep Dive series, so everything else she says, even if it's controversial and should be addressed, we're not going to discuss it here because this is about Moses. But right now, she just got done talking about how she felt upset with the quarantine because she wanted to go out and do things, and that's why she feels like she has nothing to look forward to because she used to have guests on her podcast and they got to meet in person, and she doesn't like that they have to quarantine now and only meet on Zoom. And now she's about to discuss the breakup. It appears to be leaning toward that.
I mean, if we're gonna just call it what we call it, I mean, it's a breakup. It is. That is what it is. It's a breakup. It sucks. Like, ugh, it just sucks. Thinking like you found, I don't.
I'm not sure why she refers to it as a breakup because I don't think they were officially together even at this time. Because even when they get back together in August, which is a month after this video, Moses says that he doesn't want to be called her boyfriend. Like, he doesn't want to date anyone and he doesn't want her as his girlfriend. So I don't see how he would have previously said he would be her boyfriend and then months later say he didn't want to do that. Seems like the whole entire time he didn't want to be.
Like, I feel like I don't get into relationships that quickly. I feel like
She gets into relationships very quickly. She might not feel like she does, but she definitely does. The first day she met Jason, she slept with him and then wanted to immediately be his girlfriend, but Jason didn't want that. And then the minute they started dating, like within the first week, she was already telling him that she wanted him to give her a baby and to marry her. She does that with everybody. She instantly meets someone and then wants to date them. So I'm not sure why she thinks that she doesn't get into relationships fast. I think this is another case where she's trying to act like Moses is so different and there was such a strong pull that it was different than anyone else, but it's the same pull and the same story for every single boyfriend.
it really takes a lot for me to like fall for someone. Like, I know a lot of people always think like, oh, you're in love with this person. It's like, no.
It's not true that it takes a lot for her to fall. Again, she fell for Jason the very first day that she met him, and Sean, and Roger Bart, and Anthony Michael Hall. Every single boyfriend.
No, I mean, not really. But for me to be like attached to someone and then it's like, it's hard. That whole adjustment, thinking.
Again, that's not true. She was overly attached to every single boyfriend that she had. She keeps trying to say that Moses was the only boyfriend that she was obsessed with and the only boyfriend that she wanted to spend 24/7 with and was clingy with, but anyone watching the Jason Nash series knows that that isn't true. Since video one, she was clingy to even all the way to the end. She never stopped being clingy toward Jason. She was obsessed with Jason. Jason often tried to create distance between them and create space and tell her that he needed some space, and she never allowed it. So I'm not sure why she believes that she's never been like this with anyone except Moses. I think it's her trying to rewrite history to frame Moses as being more special than the rest.
Like, you found the person.
Again, why would Moses be the person that she found when he made it very clear from the beginning that he did not want to date her? And he had no interest in being anything more with her than having X.
And then just realizing, nope, that's not that person. And then the worst is like, it's not even that you like lost the person. It's like realizing like how the person was, like when you hear all the things they did behind your back and you're just like, oh, it even hurts even more because you're like, damn.
Well, yeah, it's no surprise that that would hurt her more. But again, she knew about this prior. She knew what kind of person he was from before he even cheated, and she found him talking to other women because she found or she discovered his messages prior where he spoke bad about her body and said a bunch of negative things about her weight, her body, and how he didn't like her, how he was essentially disgusted by her, and how he only wanted to use her for her money and to have a child to collect child support. So she's saying, like, oh, it sucks when you realize who that person was, but she realized before and she said she forgave him because she wanted to continue to try to be with him. And he was trying to pretend he wanted to be with her too. So she already knew this all along. This isn't some new revelation.
He would really be hitting people up on his way to dinner, on his way to my house to have dinner with my family. Like, and just like, hitting people up.
And that's true. Moses did do that. Moses was talking to other women behind Trisha's back while he was going to meet her parents and her family. He did do that. This is why, partially, why we say that Moses is such a snake and not a good person. But again, it strikes me as kind of odd that her finding out what he said about wanting to use her and how disgusting he found her to be, it kind of strikes me as odd that she finds him talking to women worse than that. Like, his worse than revealing his true feelings about her, where he was so disgusted by her and talked so much crap about her. That kind of falls on the back burner, and she's more like, oh my god, I can't believe he was trying to sleep with other women while with me. Like, why is that worse than what he was already doing by saying that she was so disgusting and he wasn't attracted to her at all and he wanted to use her money?
Like, yeah, I mean, in my last podcast, we were like, she sounds still really hurt. Yeah, hurt. That's awful.
Yeah, and the podcast we just did, she actually tried to sound like she wasn't hurt and she tried to sound like she was over it, but she clearly wasn't. So, again, yeah, here she is doing a video now and she's admitting, no, I'm not over it. I am still affected by it, which you could gauge from the podcast just based off the forced persona of Miss I Don't Give Enough.
I mean, are the text messages so ridiculous? And obviously, he is being catfished. Yes, and the way he speaks is absolutely like gross. Gross.
What does that matter, though? I kind of feel like she's saying this like, oh, were the messages just so ridiculous and the person behind them was a catfish? It's almost like she's trying to say that because it allegedly wasn't a real person or a real woman that he was cheating with, that it doesn't count. That's what I'm getting from this because I feel like this is why she ends up forgiving him because they're both just like, oh, it wasn't even a real person that I tried to sleep with. It was a catfish. It wasn't even real. As if that somehow negates him talking to this girl and trying to meet up with her and trying to sleep with her while having dinner with Trisha's parents. I don't, that's kind of a reach for me to excuse that behavior.
Grosses me out, but yeah, it hurts. And it sucks. And I think it sucks even more because it's like we're in this and I can't really focus on things I normally would focus on outside of like relationships. But at the same time, it's like I go on.
She does, though. She never stopped living her life once the quarantine started. She still went out. She still did music videos. She still did everything that she did prior. She was doing OF collabs. She was hooking up with people. She was sleeping with random people. She was hanging out with friends. She was doing everything. She never stopped living her life. But she's trying to say like, oh, this is worse during quarantine because I can't even do anything that would distract me from having a relationship be my sole life. But relationships have always been her sole life, and quarantine didn't stop her from living at all.
Bumble and I'm like off of it now, and I go on Bumble and it's like everyone's just looking for a hookup, which I'm not really interested in. But
Okay, interesting thing here. She said she was on Bumble, but now she's off of it, which is interesting because just in the last video we did, which was the podcast, which was prior to this, she said she was all over Bumble. She was specifically looking for hookups. All she wanted was casual X. So for her to be like, yeah, I'm off it, I'm not really looking for it, she just was just going crazy about bragging about how much she was on it and how many people wanted her and how many people she wanted to have X with, which makes me think at this time that she was trying to get Moses to come back by trying to act like she wasn't on there or getting off of there.
how are you gonna freaking date during a pandemic? You know, you just can't. So
Well, how come you can't date during a pandemic, but you can go hook up with random strangers during a pandemic? How does that make sense? Because she said people flew in during the pandemic to come sleep with her, and she was sleeping with multiple people during. So why is it that she could sleep with them but she can't date them? I'm confused about that.
It's a freaking mess. I'm a freaking mess over here. That's all I know. And you know, I was just trying to get through it. Like, you know, I'm strong. I did learn that. Like, damn, I've been through some. I have been through some, and I'm still. I just feel like I can get through things quicker, pain quicker.
The thing is that she's like, oh, I've been through a lot and I'm really strong so I can get through it. But I don't know if it constitutes. I don't know if it constitutes as strong to be cheated on or have a guy say that he isn't attracted to you in any way and wants to use you for your money, and then for you to forgive and get back with that guy. I don't think that is considered strong. I know she's talking about right now, but she does end up back with Moses, which we have to remember. So how strong are you if you wanted him that bad that no matter what he did to you, it was okay and you just took him back?
It just sucks, but I still feel it. I definitely felt it. This was definitely my week of feeling it. I was just like, whew, this is like real. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but it seems really bad.
So Trisha began to talk about Naya Rivera and how sad and tragic that was, but then she loops it back to being about her breakup. So she says Naya's passing reminded her not to be so sad about breakups and not let things stop her from living. So listen to that.
Which is like reminding me too. I mean, when all this stuff happens, it just like reminds me too to like keep living your life. Like, don't wish the days away. Don't waste the days in pain. And honestly, and I have to listen to my own advice, like getting up and doing something and being productive helps. Like, yeah, maybe I haven't fully gotten ready, which I think was like a little bit of my issue, but like once I do this, I'm like, oh, you know what? Okay, Trish, you have like a whole day ahead of you to do stuff. Like, you're good. You're good. You're not dependent on other people for your happiness. Like,
I mean, I get what she's saying. She's basically saying if you look good, you feel good. And if you're productive, you feel better. I just don't believe her when she says things like, well, you don't need other people to depend on for your happiness, because I actually believe that she does, which is why she ends up getting back with Moses, because she relies so heavily on the validation of a man to be happy. I don't think she can be happy without one.
no, like I can make myself happy, you know, I can order myself sushi, you know, it's just like, I mean, I always order myself sushi anyways, but
This is definitely in reference to Moses, because Moses and her ate sushi all the time. So, and she pointed that out before, that sushi was their thing. That's why she's like, oh, I don't need him to order me sushi. I can order my own sushi. But he's still very clearly and very heavily on her mind.
um I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you're feeling a depressive state, if you're feeling kind of weird right now, like, not to say whatever, but like we all kind of are, you're not alone. Also know your worth, you know? Like, loneliness sucks, but also know your worth. Know it. Like, know you're better than, okay, you give so, you know what? I believe in second chances, but hey, they screwed that second chance up. Bye.
So it's actually kind of disappointing that she didn't follow her own advice here, because she's saying know your worth. She forgave him the first time when she found out he was talking crap about her, but she let him back in and then he ucked her over again. Um, it is a shame that she's saying know your worth, but then she ends up getting back with the very guy who betrayed her twice. Because again, he didn't just cheat on her, you guys. He said the worst things about her. He said he wasn't attracted to her. She smelled. He was going to use her for her money and have a kid with her just to use her for her money. So I don't know. I don't think that's knowing your worth to go back to someone like that.
Like, you knew how, you know, and it's all in the course of months. Like, babes. That's the thing. It's more of the feeling.
She's saying that he betrayed her twice in the span of months, but think about it. He was probably betrayed her the whole entire time, and probably even continued to betray her well after. Uh, you know what they say, a leopard doesn't change a spot.
Of starting over for me than having to, like, lost like an, you know, you're just like, oh, I gotta start like over, because you do become familiar and comfortable, and that feeling is amazing in a sense, because you're just like, I'm good, you know. But I'm just not trying to.
I mean, it's relatable. She's saying that the worst thing about a breakup is having to start over with a whole new person because the last person kind of knew the way you worked and you knew the way they worked. So it's kind of almost easier to just go back to that old thing. But she barely knew Moses, so it doesn't really work in this context because they only knew each other for like a week before he initially betrayed her, and then maybe for like what, a month or so when he betrayed her. When he betrayed her again, like this has not been a long standing relationship at all. They've barely known each other.
Get up all in them feelings, you know? Okay, that's the lip color, but where's the lip liner?
So we're skipping because she did a lot of talking about not Moses, but here she starts to talk about him again, so we're tuning back in.
This thing blows. It really does. I think I took it for granted because I had someone like I quarantined with and it was like something new and you're just like, you know, when you're like so in love and like, y'all know me, I can be like so in love and then so clingy, being like, I want to see that person all the time, but like realistically, it's never possible.
Again, she keeps contradicting herself in this regard because just at the start of the video, she said that she's never like this. And now she's like, y'all know me, I cling really fast and I'm like in love really fast. But she just said in the beginning that she wasn't like that at all and Moses was like special. But also notice here, and she's like, you know, when you guys are in love, but like she had just met him like within a week and she already was claiming that she was in love. So it's not really how love works.
Possible because usually people have to work, but now it's the quarantine and guess what? You can see them all the freaking time. It was like my dream.
I mean, that's true. That probably was her ideal situation. She loves to have her partners with her all the time, which I can't blame her there because a lot of people are like that. A lot of people like to have the partners with them 24/7, but Trisha especially. So I'm sure quarantine was like a dream come true to her because she had the excuse to keep Moses around all the time. And there was no reason for him to really leave if they were quarantining together.
So I don't know. Now it just feels kind of weird. This feels like more hair in this one. I swear.
I also can understand why she would feel so attached to Moses if they were quarantining together the entire time and then all of a sudden he leaves. I can understand that loss, especially if she's in her house alone and she's like, wow, he's usually here. The thing that doesn't compute for me is that she's like that with everyone anyway. Like she's already like that with her boyfriend. So like say she meets Jason Ash, she's with him together, she's together with him, and then all of a sudden he leaves to go back home. She has the same reaction that she's having now with Moses not quarantining with her. So she always feels that absence. She always feels that loss, like quarantine or not.
I swear that guy tank when I got the last time was just, but what was I meant to do? I need to get into a new musical because when I was dealing with some issues, personal issues earlier in the year, I found musicals and they really definitely saved me. So it's like I need to find like a new musical that's gonna save me.
So again, she's talking about Moses. She needs to be saved from her sadness, and she's thinking she can use music. She's thinking she can use musicals to do it. She's clearly like really torn up about this Moses thing. She tried to act in the last video in the podcast that she didn't care about him, that she was over it, whatever, but that's clearly not the case. So Trisha starts talking about how she feels better when she looks better and how long hair makes her look and feel better, like she's that itch. So here's what she had to say about it.
Reminds me of like when people change their hair and then it's like, savage love, did somebody break your heart? TikTok. Anyway.
I think she obviously relates to that because she's saying Moses broke her heart, obviously. Okay, this is the end of the vid.
Thanks for getting ready with me. Thanks for cheering myself up by doing my glam. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
So she obviously was going through it and feeling really bad after the Moses situation. She clearly wasn't over him. She clearly needed to help herself feel better, and she did that through trying to look better. She definitely was not as hardcore as she tried to make herself seem in the podcast prior, where she's like, oh, I don't care. I went and slept with like 12 other people. I don't really care. Because she seems to be like now crashing out over Moses again. So it'll be interesting to see in the series when she gets back with him. I believe she's back with him in the very next video that we're about to post. I'm going to do a two-parter here because this one was kind of short. So I'm going to show you now where Moses reappears, which is very interesting.